Hi guys, and welcome to my first episode of Stop Dieting and Just Eat. My name is Claudia and I am your coach. The whole purpose behind this series is to just do the best that I can as a nutrition coach to teach you everything that I know about nutrition, to simplify it so that way we stop overcomplicating everything, and hopefully you take away all the key points to be able to better understand this side of health and fitness. I am a nutrition coach. I am not a registered dietitian, and I say that because if you have any sort of health issues, if you are a diabetic, if you have high blood pressure, low blood pressure, cholesterol issues, any sort of things like that, I highly suggest that even though this information is very useful, that you still consult with a registered dietitian or a doctor. But that does not mean that you can't understand basic nutrition, and that is my goal. Today's episode, we're going to start off and we're just going to dive into Nutrition 101. We're going to start talking about a word that I personally hated for years. A word that I would hear and I would run the other way. I would see it and I would just cover my eyes, pretend it's not there, cover my ears, blah, la, 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 and do not hear it. But I hated it. I hated it with every fiber in my being. And the reason for that was because I never gave it a chance. I created this negative story behind it. I created this negative relationship with it. Therefore, I hated it. I wanted nothing to do with it. And that word is diet. The word diet just made me run in the opposite direction. And the reason for that was because I was using the verb and not the noun. There are two definitions for the word diet. And the verb version is that, and I actually wrote it down because I don't want to mess it up. And yes, I have notes because I just want to make sure that I give you all the information that I came with prepared. But the verb is restrict oneself to small amounts or special kinds of food in order to lose weight. The noun is the kinds of food that a person, animal, or community habitually eats. So let's take a step back and look at the fact that the verb has two key components: restriction, weight loss. The noun, habitually eats. That's it. It does not specify what you're eating. You could literally eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that is your diet. Is that a great one? No. Should you keep eating it? Probably not, but that is your diet. And the whole point of this video is to break the stigma, stop focusing on keto and vegan and vegetarian and whatever the hell other diet you're on. Unless a registered dietitian or doctor are telling you to do so, unless your religious beliefs are telling you to do so, there's really no reason to use the verb, and we need to start using the noun, okay? So my job is to just teach you what that looks like. So let's get started, okay? If you have not gotten a pen and paper yet, I'm gonna need you to hit pause real quick. Go grab a pen and paper, because if you genuinely want to learn, you gotta take notes, okay? So let's start with macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are the big components of nutrition. They take the most amount of energy. They are going to be your protein, carbs, and fats, and then you have micronutrients, which are going to be the smaller amounts of food that you need that are going, this is smaller, I can't talk. They are going to be the smallest components of your food. So that's going to be your vitamins and your minerals, right? So you need a lot bigger quantities of proteins, carbs, and fats, whereas you need smaller amounts of your vitamins and your minerals, but they're both needed in your diet. So let's break that down. Let's start out. We're going to put micronutrients aside, and today we're just going to focus on macronutrients. We're going to start with protein. Protein is king. That is a phrase that if you've never heard it before, well, now you have, and you'll probably hear it again at some point in your life. The reason that we think protein is king is because it's literally the building block for everything that our body does. It is the building block for building and repairing tissues. It is the building block for hormonal balances. It is the building block for nutrient absorption, for fluid balance, for all these different functions. So our bodies literally like need it. And then it's also the main component of metabolic rates in how our bodies uses our food sources to burn calories, to create muscle and all that jazz, right? So like how much our metabolic rate, essentially what you need to know without going in depth about calories in, calories out, is that you want a strong metabolism that is going to allow you to use the foods that you're eating as energy versus storing it as fat. Okay, so you need protein. The RDA recommends 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And if you don't know that conversion, 2.2 pounds equals 1 kilogram. And I'll put like a little, what's it called? A little equation here for you to just convert it for yourself. And then you can just plug it in. The other thing I would say with that is that personally, depending on what your goal is, I would maybe recommend that instead of your current weight would be your ideal weight. But that's when we kind of run into this, well, there's a big gap between the two and finding one that just suits you best. And that's where personalization is going to come in, coaching is going to come in. But for now, let's just stick to the RDA recommendations. And then the other thing that I want to point out with protein is the fact that per gram of protein, it equals 4 calories. We're not going to go into calories in, calories out, but right now I just want you to understand that 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Different examples of protein is going to be any kind of meat, so fish, poultry, meat, like red meats, and then you have eggs, and then you also have some sources of dairy, including Greek yogurt. Next, we're going to cover carbs. So at some point in time, we decided that carbs were evil. I am here to tell you that carbs are not evil. They are our body's main source of energy. That means we need it. We literally need it to function. For our bodies to do what they need to do, we need carbs. We need energy. I will say that there are 2 different types of carbs. They are simple carbs and then they are complex carbs. What differentiates the two is how fast they are digested, how much insulin they spike, so how much sugar rush you get from them, and then just how many molecules it takes to create them. Bear with me, okay? So no matter what carb you're eating, your body's going to do whatever it takes to break it down through digestion to then create a sugar molecule, which is then gonna turn into energy, okay? So no matter what carb you're eating, eventually your body will turn that into a sugar molecule. Simple carbs are made with 1 molecule of sugar, whereas complex carbs are made with multiple. Essentially need to be broken down into 1 molecule of sugar, okay? So simple carbs are going to be things that are digested very quickly, that are going to give you tons of energy really quickly, but then you're gonna crash really quickly. And I already know that that's gonna include your sugars, your syrups, your honey, and your fruits, okay? And then you have complex carbs, which are going to take longer to digest. They're going to give you energy during longer periods of time, and then you're still gonna crash, but just not as much. Okay, so simple carbs, you go up, come down really quickly. Complex carbs, you kind of do one of these, okay? So there are pros and cons, and there's our time and places for both of them. Right now, I just need you to understand the biggest difference between simple and complex. Some examples of complex carbs are going to be like potatoes, oats, rice, and then you got your vegetables. The other thing that we got to understand is that little spike that we talked about of energy, of insulin, of sugar, is called a glycemic index. So there is such thing as a diet focus on glycemic index. Typically speaking, that's going to be for people who have problems with sugar, aka diabetics. But for now, all you got to know is that simple carbs do this, complex carbs go here. At the end of the day, we don't want our energy levels to look like a roller coaster, right? We don't want this all day long. We want more of here, and maybe at certain times we'll go a little bit higher, but overall, we want a steady amount of energy throughout the day. The last thing about carbs is the fact that just like proteins, per 1 gram of carbs is going to equal 4 calories. I will not give you an amount that you need, and we will talk about that later. But for now, that's all you need to know. Now we're going to talk about fats. Fats are also not evil. At some point in life, some people decided they were team carbs and some people decided they were team fat. And I'm here to tell you that you need both. Fats are essential. You need them for your hormones. You need them for testosterone levels. You need them for your energy. They're a source of energy. They're also going to help with your heart health, and they're going to help with your cholesterol levels. They're going to help with your blood pressure. There's just a lot of things that we need fats for. So I just want to reiterate the fact that we need each and every one of those macronutrients for different things, and our body uses each of them differently, but we need them all. As far as fat goes, the biggest thing there is the fact that with fats, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories, whereas protein and carbs equals 4 calories. So it's literally more than double the amount of calories of protein and carbs. Now, there are 4 types of fat. Just like there are different types of carbs, there are different types of fats. So we're going to start with monounsaturated fats. Mono meaning one, and then unsaturated is just the type of fat that it is. Monounsaturated fats are going to be found in avocado, they're going to be found in nuts, and also in olives, so like olive oil. The biggest thing about the benefit of monounsaturated fats is that they are good for you. They're going to help increase healthy cholesterol, lower bad cholesterol. And then you have polyunsaturated fats. This is going to be mainly found in fish and seeds. So think salmon and literally any kind of fish out there. These are essential fats. We need these kinds of fats. The reason for that is because fish or polyunsaturated fats are going to have the biggest amount of omega-3s and omega-6s. Omega-3s and omega-6s, just like monounsaturated fats, are going to help increase good cholesterol, decrease bad cholesterol, but these are also known as essential fats. These are fats that your body does not naturally produce, therefore you need to consume it from elsewhere. And if you're not eating enough fish, if you're not a fan of fish, then you have to find a high quality omega-3 and omega-6 multivitamin, a fish oil vitamin, okay? And then you have, so we said monounsaturated, we said polyunsaturated. Now we're going to talk about saturated fats. Saturated fats are also somehow became like evil within the fat industry, and I don't know why, because these are mostly found in most of your meat and then dairy and eggs, okay? The thing with saturated fat is that it's going to, the benefits of them is the fact that they're going to keep you full longer, and they're also the fastest energy source out of all the fats. So we need them. We need them as energy. Therefore, you should always have them in your diet. The only fat that I urge you to stay away from is trans fat. Trans fat is going to be found in margarines, is going to be found in vegetable oil. Vegetable shortage is going to be found in any fast food that you're frying with. Think anything that you gotta deep fry, yeah, you probably want to stay away from that. The reason for that is that these fats are literally man-made. They took a perfectly good fat, they added some hydrogen to it, some hydrogen molecules, so then they could last longer on the shelf. But guess what? It's just not good for your body. Your body does not like it. It does not need it. So stay away from it. That is literally the only thing all day that I've told you to stay away from. So now that you have a better understanding of proteins, carbs, and fats, the biggest question is, well, how much should I eat of X, Y, and Z? I only gave you an actual recommendation for protein. Carbs and fats come down to a lot of different things. It's like a trial and error. Some people do better with a higher carb than a higher protein. Some people do better the other way around. But that does not mean go super high fat, super low carbs. That doesn't mean do the opposite. It just means sometimes it could be like a 40% carb, 30 fat, 30 protein. Sometimes it could be 35, 35, 30, you know what I mean? Like there are so many different variances and it just varies person to person. And that's where coaching comes in. That's where a registered dietitian comes in. And it just comes down to what do you like and what works for you. I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that this gave you a little bit of a taste of what the series is going to be about. We're going to be going over nutrition labels. We're going to be going over how to use a fitness tracker if you like to do that. We're going to go over portions and timing of different foods. But if you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. I would love to answer your questions. I promise you that you're not the only person who has that question. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you found this information to be helpful, or you think that maybe someone needs a little bit of help with nutrition, or you know someone who was looking for help in nutrition, please feel free to share this video. I would highly recommend it. I highly appreciate you. But yeah, anyways, I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.